We're starting with a public hearing for ordinance number 419, amending, modifying, and reenacting ordinances, there's a bunch of them, and Article 917 of the ordinance of the city, and establishing specifically new sewer rates and charges for sanitary sewage collection and disposal services. Is anyone here, no one has signed up to comment, but before we move on, is anyone here who would like to say anything, ask any questions? I will find a reason for this.
Suck up. Please hide it from Dave
No?
before he comes home.
If not, then I call the public hearing to a close and we'll start the meeting. So let's start with a moment of silence during which you may reflect on whatever you so choose. Okay, let's ask Mary, since you're closest to the flag, if you'd lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Greetings. We have one recognized guest this evening, Maria Bray, who's going to give us an update on the dog park.
This meeting right along.
This is really good. This is a very Thank you.
Okay. So Isaac Newton's first law of motion declares a body in motion stays in motion. So if you're looking for a real life example of that, the dog park committee is it. That team has more energy and they just keep it moving. The gross profit so far in the dog park is $15,356.44. Time to do dance. Now, except for the $2,800 we received from the Try This grant, and of course the $5,000 in seed money that council allocated, everything else is local money. So that's great buy-in. Well, the council money is local too. But that's great buy-in. I mean, people are supporting it, they're coming out, they're using it. From that, we've spent $7,868, which leaves us about $7,488 still to spend. And we have a shopping list. So it'll go. We've been able to accomplish so much with the available funds because not only the city employees who are amazing, but Lowe's has been really terrific in pricing and giving us great price points on things. So we've really gotten a lot of bang for our buck. The We Lead students at Wesleyan have been supportive as well. They've given us their time. They've organized events and activities. And in fact, they have an event coming up called Halloween. And there's no money involved in this. We're not turning it into a fundraiser. This is just for fun. Come on out, with or without costume. 1 o'clock at the Riverwalk on October 29th. Strut your festive mutt and enjoy the autumn. They've been a great group. Those students have been, they've been
Animal welfare team.
Yeah, Animal welfare team. Yeah, they've been amazing. So let your fur down, come and enjoy the autumn. They will have stations set up along the Riverwalk, and as you go for a walk with your dog, they'll have treats available so your dog can trick or treat. Additionally, the first week of each month is cleanup week. So we'll have volunteers and we'll bring people into the process who are using the park. The park's pretty clean. I've been going down there 3 or 4 mornings a week, and I think we have 98% compliance. There's 1 or 2, I don't know who they are yet, but for the most part, people are keeping the park clean. There's a lot of toys strewn around. We'll work on that. We're in the process of, now this is a problem, I didn't get this on the agenda and I know the rules. We're completing a state farm grant and it's got an October 31st submission date. Would council give permission to Consolidated Public Works to appoint someone to sign off on that grant? Are you able to do that?
For the Try This grant?
No, it's State Farm. It's a $5,000 grant.
Is that just the application?
We're doing the application. We've split it up among the members, but we need somebody to have permission to act on behalf of the city and sign off on it.
Is there any city match?
No.
But it's due no later than October.
October 31st we need to do it.
I think the mayor has that inherent authority,
Okay.
but we couldn't, the council couldn't take any action on it.
Correct.
Right.
But so,
He can sign on behalf of the city, I assume. We don't.
Yeah.
so if I put it on the agenda as consolidated, okay, we'll do that then.
Consolidated boards and
Some people have expressed a desire to see the park more handicap accessible. Problem is, with that kind of drive-by criticism, it doesn't help me. I ask them what they want, the conversation ends. I've never been in a wheelchair. I'm clueless. So I brought in a friend who is a consultant in things like this, and she gave me a couple ideas where we could make it more hospitable. Like in the parking area, designate the first space as handicap parking, maybe put some sort of surface between the parking lot and the park itself. But wheelchairs don't really function well on grass, and that's our surface. So we're not ignoring the comments. I really need input, because I don't know. I just don't have that experience.
Maybe like you said, pave it to get into the park, and then maybe an area that's paved for them to
within the
sit,
park itself.
Because you're right, I think it's the mud that.
It's the mud
grass
right
and the mud
now.
That would
but-
be hard for someone
Yeah.
in a wheelchair.
So we'll see.
Or even with the.
It's a work in progress. I'm not ignoring it, but I do need feedback from the community. The rocks that are coming up, because you know that was a site where things were laid to rest. And when we cleaned it up, some of the rocks come up whenever it rains. So the people who are using the park are putting the stones out by the tree, and we've invited the Rockin' group in Upshur County who paints the rocks to come, and they can have them. They can paint them and go hide them in town, so it's another partnership. Upcoming expenses include communications center, which is a try this requirement, small dog fencing, water and waste stations, all in progress. And current fundraisers are the GoFundMe account still available, Tribute of Bricks, which you'll start seeing signs of out and about. We're doing fresh wreaths and centerpieces where we don't have to actually pay anything, but we get 20% of all sales through our link. And we're planning a dance party December the 2nd at the 88 Restaurant. You'll hear more details about it. We're looking for sponsors, and anyone who wants to put up $1,500 first gets to name the event.
A dance party.
A dance party.
Bring your dog?
No.
Never mind.
Because it'll be December, it'll have to be inside.
Right, it's December 2nd, and it's at the 88. I just want to close with a quote from Josh Becker. For every change or discovery we desire to see in ourselves and our community, it always begins with putting ourselves in motion toward it, and then building on the momentum we've started. And I believe the Dog Park Committee has proven that statement very true. That's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
No, you're just to be complimented on exhibiting some leadership and getting this thing moving.
True team
The
effort.
rest of us view trying to make the people that lead successful. So
Well, it was a true
I think
team.
that project shows that this community is working together, and we can accomplish anything that way.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you for-
amazing.
thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks for the update.
Thanks, you got it.
Could you name the individuals on your committee that also?
Oh, okay. Lisa Critchfield is a co-coordinator. Pam Kapari has been coming to helping and been a part of the committee. Robin Keogh, Elisa Mills, Stephen Beer, go around the table. Jenny Dixon, Brooke Scott, thank you. And the We Lead, Allie Clausen and Parkins, Jessica Parkins.
We thank all of them.
Yeah, they did a great job.
May I say a comment? Absolutely. One of the things that we were talking about before this meeting started was the 2020 plan for the Buckhannon. The dog park was a place for the animals, was even mentioned in the 2015. It was something they wanted to get done. And it's not always people that sit up here. It is the people out there that get involved, and we work together, and that's why this is happening.
Yeah, it was 12 years in the making that I know of.
Yeah.
But look how quickly,
And it
once it
came
became a
together.
priority
Yeah.
to a group of people.
Now everybody's in there.
Yeah.
That's good.
I was going to tell you, I've been down a couple times with Barney, and one Sunday I was down there and I met a couple new professors that had dogs, and they were thrilled to have the
Oh,
place
good.
to take their
Okay,
dogs.
yeah, good, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, the college has been especially
Yeah.
supportive of this.
Yeah, there were 8 people there prior to this meeting this evening.
Good,
Thank you.
thanks.
So Jerry's not here this evening. Does anyone have his report?
He doesn't have a report.
He doesn't want, okay. All right, Amber, you're up.
I don't really have a report either. I mean, there's just a lot of things
All
going
right,
on.
let's keep rolling.
7:30.
We're paying Amber to set a
It's
record
7:30.
today.
That doesn't mean that you two go over your limit.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, sir.
Amber, nothing.
No, I mean,
But it's not that, yeah.
Yeah, street department's been really busy getting the theater in order for the play, and I concur with everyone else. This community has really gone together with both the theater and the dog park and so many other things. And I'm really proud to work here and to live here.
Oh, we're glad you're here. All right, Tom, your turn.
The only thing that I'd mention, other than what's down in G1 and 2,
Right.
I'd only mention an update that we have been in touch with motorists insurance, and we are hopefully going to get some movement quickly on getting a resolution to that. I spoke with the supervisor for the adjuster, who's not been very responsive yesterday, and communicated with him again today. And so hopefully by next meeting we'll have something positive to report on that front.
Good.
This is what again, Tom?
This has to do with compact backhoe.
Okay.
Thank you.
The insurance company is now engaging.
And we'll talk about the ordinance later.
Yeah.
Police chief report, Matt. Matt does have a written report in
No,
the packet.
no pressure. I'm back there just doing some paraphrasing and things like that, my report. Just real quick, just a few updates for council. Police department's going to continue to be very busy with our outreach efforts here in the next few weeks in the Halloween season. Next week, our annual Halloween safety program will be taken to elementary students. We see about 600 students throughout that week talking about safe trick-or-treating and such. So we'll be doing that the week of October 23rd. Also, in our continued cooperation with not only Wesleyan College, but other local schools, a lot of programs that we have scheduled. They'll be attending an internship fair at the college next week, as well as Project Isaac, which is an after-school program where we talk about police careers at the middle school. Our second annual trunk or treat will be held on Monday, October 30th, from 6 to 8 at the public safety parking lot. It was a huge success last year. We had 700 plus kids make their way there. Anticipate the same success, because I saw as I was going into Walmart the other day that's the same night as their trick or treat. So maybe a rotational thing. So that will be going on. A lot of other organizations throughout the community, public safety as well as other businesses have joined us. So we have a lot more participants this year. I know you discussed this at your last meeting. Just an update on this. Officers will undergo Narcan training at the Community and Training Room on November 7th. Officers will be certified to use this and to carry this medication by the Upshur Health Department. We're in the process of adapting a policy for this. And then finally, on November 7th, we've been in consultation with JH Consulting, as well as the Upshur County Family Resource Network and other public safety agencies to have a preparedness event, to basically talk about how to prepare and what to do to deal with any kind of an emergency that may occur, whether it be man-made or natural. This event will take place also on November 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. In the public safety training room. A lot of resources will be on hand, as well as first responders to give us a talk. I believe so. Lori Harvey with the Upshur FRN. She's heading it up, so she has a lot of people on her contact list there. That's all I have tonight, unless there's questions.
Questions for Matt?
You're going to be going to a CLIA
Yes.
conference?
That will be, we'll be leaving Buckhannon on November 14th. We're traveling to Jacksonville, Florida for 4 days. We'll be back on November 18th.
And that's you and Doug are going?
It's me and Doug, and it's going to talk about the process of accreditation, everything that we need to know to get it started, as well as the software that we'll be utilizing. We'll train on that. So, well, it looks like I glanced at the curriculum. It looks like a pretty good training session, so we're looking forward to that. We'll have more to report on with that when we get back.
Great.
Matt, the Narcan, where are the supplies of them coming from?
The,
The health department
yes,
donated some, but.
Correct.
let me know.
My understanding, the health department has a grant
Right.
currently for that, that's, and they're acting under Dr. Reed's license.
Mm-hmm.
So as an extension of that, that's how they're able to afford the training and the supplies,
Right.
as long as they have this grant at this time for the police
So it's
department.
ample supplies for you?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Matt, I'll call you. You'll be in tomorrow?
Yes.
I will call you with some very specific information about, there's a lot of individuals evidently that are going around town offering to trim hedges or trees or what have you. And I think people need to be very, very careful when they're trying to help people out, but they're getting scammed.
Yeah.
And I have a couple instances that I think we really need to push some things. But people, please be aware, if you're trying to help somebody else that needs some help, oftentimes you'll be taken advantage of. And they seem to pick on people that are, have a little bit of age on them or have some other issues. So just be careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt, I thought that might be what Dave was going to ask about. I've had several people ask me if we found out anything about the flower vandalism downtown.
We are still currently
Waiting to-
investigating that. Where it stands now, the video surveillance at Chase Bank is controlled by their corporation. And we had to serve a search warrant on the corporation. And we're just waiting on their
Waiting for that.
response
Okay.
to that.
But we'll eventually get that one.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're telling us that it could be the end of the month or the first couple of weeks of November. So
Just have to go through the process.
just have to,
Right.
it's
Man, I got a
frustrating.
call from a manager of one of our big box retailers the other day, asked me how to get hold of the police without going through 911. He called him the chainsaw guy, thief, had left the property, but he had abandoned his car in the lot, and he wanted to try to secure it prior to him coming back and getting it. So did he ever reach out to the force and get that resolved, or?
I didn't speak to him directly, so I'm not sure if he'd spoke to another officer or not.
Maybe that's something, a number that they could have that's not 911 that they could call, since they are big contributors to our tax base, that,
What's the name of the company?
well, this is Chad Corley at Lowe's.
Lowe's. A lot of people don't know that a non-emergency number to call directly to the police department. You could call here to City Hall and they switch you
Yeah,
over.
I thought
You know,
that-
1651.
Well, that's during the daytime.
That's during the daytime, but in the
Officers
evening.
usually don't man the phones at night because they're out and about on
Right.
patrol. So the best number to call in an emergency officer is 911, or the business line of the comm center, which is 304-472-9550. That's the number I'll share with you.
Well, just but those couple of people out there that might have a regular need for police.
We do plan on having calendars again this year, and our calendars have the different numbers that the police can be contacted, and then we try to reach out to our business community and get a lot of those out.
Does the tip line still exist?
Yes, sir, it does. Yeah.
And there's a phone number, a non-emergency phone number on the website, but you said that's just for daytime. It's 472-5723.
Yeah, that's the business line for the police department.
And then there's a tip line number, 473-1001.
And that's for non-emergencies. I've actually had people call, leave emergency information on there before.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the number under you is the city call number.
Is the comm center's non-emergency number, do you see that on
I
it?
don't see it in the directory.
Probably not, because it's a county
Right.
function.
Right.
Might see if we can get
City
the.
services. I don't see it. Not in the directory.
Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a lot of correspondence going through here. Some posters about the Halloween kickoff event, haunted walk trail, sponsored by SYC. They're still looking for volunteers, so having a meeting Wednesday, I
On
think.
25th, I
Yeah.
think, and
Wednesdays at SYC and then like a walkthrough Thursday at the
Yeah, anybody
River Trail.
wants
So
to
anybody
volunteer.
who's interested,
Contact us.
yeah. Let's see, trunk or treat. City of Buckhannon trick or treats October 31st, 6 to 7:30. The information grants coordinator position has been posted now for a bit. Much response?
Yeah, we have a few applications in.
Okay, and you all have the dates on your calendars for when we're gonna review the applications and start the interviews? Okay.
When's the deadline again?
28.
When-
8?
That's a Saturday.
Yeah, it's a Saturday.
Saturday, October 28th is the deadline, okay. Proclamations, National Red Ribbon Week and Christian Heritage Week. Letter from Suddenlink regarding set-top box pricing. Project Isaac, Lights Out After School. Matt was talking about that. Ross Straight Day, Job on Park, October 26th. That's Thursday too. October 26th, 5:30, Ross Straight Day. Let's see what it says about that. Did anybody know any more about that?
I think so.
I think he's just going to
Thursday.
recognize Wall Street.
Yeah, I think that's next Thursday.
Proclamation.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything in there. All right, so any questions about any of the correspondence or information?
Can I ask Andy a question?
Absolutely.
Miss Amby, can, you all are gonna be in the trunk or treat thing?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so I could bring some candy here, because I won't be able to do trick or treat mine.
Sure. If you want to, I mean.
Yeah, well, I'd rather you have it and give it away than it sit there and me eat it.
Well, since we're talking about trick or treat on October 31st, I just want to remind people that who come year after year for the costume contest down at Jawbone, that the Moose has done for years and years and years. They're not going to be doing it this year, so I want people to know so they don't go be looking for it.
Thanks.
Maybe someone else could pick it up.
Well, I offered it to one of the departments, but they decided not to do it. I asked.
Well, there's lots of other trick or treat and trunk or treat.
There's a lot.
River Trail, lots of
Opportunities
opportunities.
to go to them.
I do not see anything in here about the Ross Straight Day, so I assume we'll get more information about that.
It wasn't the police department.
All right. The consent agenda includes the minutes from the regular meeting of October 5th, approval of building and wiring permits, which are in our packet, approval of payment of the bills, also in the packet, and the BHA addressing and mapping on the right side road name change to Jim Marsh Drive.
Jill Marsh.
Jill Marsh, I'm very sorry. Anybody know any more about that?
I know there's a letter in there, there's a little bit of a conflict there with the county addressing and mapping.
Right.
As you turn into that area, which is Hinkle Drive, but they want to name that one side that's in the county, the
Right-hand
Jill
side.
Marsh Drive, and leave the addresses in the housing authority the same, because if they change the addresses in the housing authority, I think they have to jump through several hoops to get those changed through the,
I remember seeing the letter of the
there's a letter.
board meeting, but I don't remember, I don't see it here.
So City of Buckhannon's decided to change the name of Northwestern Road, known as Hinkle Drive, Housing Authority.
It's right before this map, right, it's from Terry Jo Bennett.
Oh, okay.
In order to solve complications caused by duplicated addresses between the city and the
It's
county,
two.
Yeah, too.
and shall only change those affected in the
It's
county.
obviously consolidated. Okay. All right. So, any questions for Amby about that one? Consolidated talked about it, I believe. No, it was,
No, I don't
was,
think. I think he mentioned it maybe the last meeting.
was it, I saw the letter,
Okay,
so
I
it must
believe
not
he
have been
did.
that. Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Robbie, motion by Robbie and second by Pam. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the consent agenda is accepted. Strategic issues for discussion and/or vote. G1, tonight we're having the third and final reading of Ordinance 419 sewer rate increase, and after that we'll vote and it will be final vote.
So just to walk council through process here, and many of you on council for a long time know the process. It's changed a little bit with some legislation that went through a couple of years ago, but effectively, if council votes to give final approval to the rate increase tonight, the tariff form is already filled out and will be posted tomorrow. It will be published on Monday and sent into the PSC. Right? And then we will begin the process of notification through statements on bills.
No, it will be in the newspaper, a press release I've sent to the newspaper, and the tariff is what it has to be.
Okay.
There's 3 ways you can notify your customers. It's by direct mail, on the bills, which we can't do it on the bills because we have 5 cycles. They'll go out different times throughout the year. Or in the newspaper of general circulation, and we're putting it in both newspapers, Intermountain and the Record Delta.
Very good. With that, I'll read by its caption the ordinance.
Please.
And we'll do that. Ordinance number 419 of the City of Buckhannon, and ordinance 1, amending, modifying, and reenacting ordinance numbers 233, 291, 295, 307, 333, and 403 of the City of Buckhannon, and Article 917 of the codified ordinances of the City of Buckhannon, and 2, specifically establishing new sewer rates and charges for sanitary sewage collection and disposal services provided by the Sanitary Board of the City of Buckhannon. This is for 3rd reading and adoption.
Any further discussion about this? We've talked about it for a while. Any questions for Amby or Mr. Dingus or?
And we do have Mr. Dingus present who can handle any questions from members of council or others.
Anyone in attendance have questions or concerns?
I have a question. This puts us about halfway in the middle of pricing across the 400 and some municipalities in the state.
That's correct.
And I have taken a wager with someone that says that if we are at the halfway point, several years from now, we will be descending while everyone else is ascending. Is that a reasonable statement?
There are a lot of municipalities and public service districts that are in the process of raising rates right now. So as other utilities raise rates, the City of Buckhannon will reduce in the
As far as
percentage.
in comparison to the other municipalities?
That's correct, yes.
And in your study, did you actually visit our plant and look at the state of our system and feel that, have any thoughts about any of that?
I think the city has done a great job in its maintenance and upgrade of and operation of its facility. I do this in a lot of cities and public service districts throughout the state, and the city has done a great job in maintaining its system, and a lot of utilities are now being faced with borrowing millions of dollars to improve or upgrade and catch up maintenance that the city has done and as a process continues to do. And that's certainly a reason for this rate increase, is to keep the positive maintenance and the positive work that's going on at the utility able to function.
Yeah, I think one of the best comments I've heard is that when other municipalities hire a contractor to do work, the guarantee could be shaky after the period of time, after the moment you give them the check. But since we do majority of all our work ourselves, that it's all guaranteed for life. I believe was Tim Rock's comment years ago, and that resonates pretty loudly that we're doing a good job. So
Right, I would concur with that.
It's been going on for decades. I mean, that's the.
Well said, CJ. Well said.
Well, and again, I've said it each time this ordinance has been up for reading. I think it's a testament to the quality of work in the sanitary department, and that we're only facing, 2-stepped 10% increases versus something quite a bit more substantial, given the amount of work that's done in-house and the quality of that work that is done in-house and the savings resulting therefm. So we're very appreciative. Well, I don't speak for council, but I think, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I move we adopt.
I second.
All right, any further discussion?
Call for question.
Amby, do we need a roll call vote?
No.
I don't have
No.
anything
It's an
decided.
ordinance.
Okay, all right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nope.
Nope, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Unanimous.
Thanks for your work on
Was that a
this.
no vote, or was that an acknowledgement?
Oh,
that there was no?
No,
Oh, no, I voted yes. I was
no
just like,
votes. I said,
Okay.
no.
Unanimous.
No, there were no
When you
votes.
said, are there any votes, I heard a no, and
I said
oh,
any no votes.
No, we're good.
Dennis had a question, yes, sir.
As I understand it, if we pass it tonight, it'll be, this is the middle of October, it'll be the middle of November when it comes into effect?
No, actually, it's
45 days.
it's
December
40, well,
3rd, or-
it's a little bit more complicated than that. It's 45 days from passage, but there's also state requirements with respect to notification. So the actual increase probably will not start showing up on people's bills until after the first of the year.
Okay.
That was my concern, because Christmas is coming.
Oh, yeah, maybe February, I think.
Yeah,
Because of the cycle, I think.
You'll see it under January.
It'll probably be
January.
on the January bills that'll show up in
Yeah.
February.
Thank you.
Good, you're safe for Christmas.
It's not that much.
Thank you. So the draft ordinance for animal care and control was not in the packet, but Mr. O'Neill gave us the separate handout.
So what we have before us is a draft ordinance. It would be ordinance number 421. This ordinance, actually, let me grab my notes here. This ordinance was drafted at the request of the Animal Care and Control Commission and in consultation with the mayor, other members of council, to make certain changes to the Animal Care and Control Commission to reflect just some of the realities that they're facing. I'll just highlight, frankly, the three changes that this ordinance makes to the Animal Care and Control Commission as it is presently constituted. Instead of, as far as the membership of the commission, instead of 2 representatives from the city of Buckhannon, it opens eligibility up to two residents of Upshur County. So the city can appoint anyone who is a resident of Upshur County and not just the city. There's a reference on the membership to the president of the Upshur County Humane Society. That was changed to a representative of the Lewis Upshur Animal, make sure I get the
Control facility.
Animal Control Facility, or in writing. So that facility would have to designate their member of the Animal Care and Control Commission in writing. And finally, there is in the existing ordinance a reference to a veterinarian member that is being supplemented by an option for a second representative from the Lewis Upshur Animal Control Facility. With respect to the rest of the ordinance, it leaves it unchanged, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. That's the draft. Now, given that it's only listed on the agenda as a draft, I don't believe we can take action on it tonight. If you'd like to see any changes to this draft, please advise. Otherwise, it will appear at the next council meeting on November 2nd. Right? Is the next council meeting November 2nd in this form for a first reading.
Tom, just to clarify, the first representative from the Lewis Upshur Animal Control Facility is designated by them, right?
That's right.
And then the option to the second one would be appointed by city council if there's no veterinarian.
Right, it'd be a
Or
veterinarian.
in lieu, not just if there's no veterinarian interested or willing, but that's the option.
Right, it gives the,
Appointed by council.
Yeah.
Okay, great,
It adds more voice to the board.
correct. Okay,
It's
broader. All right, thank you. Any questions, Tom, about this? We'll read it before the next meeting. Great, thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Wow.
My article's literally gonna be about how short this was. Oh, yeah, I was like this.
We're gonna tell. You goofed off, so we got out of our way.
I move that Susan is mayor.
I
Well, I would like to point out that the mayor knew quite a while ago he would be away tonight, so I think that
No
the agenda probably
proclamation.
reflects that.
I think so too.
All right. Comments and announcements. Mary, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna not say anything.
Hey, Pam.
I just want to remind people at the Halloween trick or treat and all that's coming up to be extra careful out with the kids running around.
Slow down.
Driving, yes.
Slow down.
Good. CJ.
I'll also say that, you know, it is a lot of kids out there at night in the dark. Some of them don't carry flashlights. Just be, you know, if you can, just avoid driving around that evening. And I read something, if someone throws an egg on your car, don't turn the wipers on or it'll totally obliterate your vision. So just let it sit there until you get home. But be safe.
Robbie.
The only thing I want to say is a reminder, we still have some slots open. We have a business boot camp with the Chamber of Commerce next week, Wednesday, the 25th. It's down here at 88. Non-chamber members are welcome, and you can call our office at 472-1722 to get registered. We have about 30 spaces total. We've got about 15, 20 people already signed up, so if you want to come, lunch will be provided. It's from 11:30 to 1. Make sure you sign up with us. That's all I've got.
Great. Dave Thomas.
Well, in keeping with a person named David, I got 10 or 12 proclamations.
All right. Go right ahead.
The tomorrow evening, the CAC Child Advocacy Center has a formal dance, semi-formal dance. It's a fundraiser from 7 to 11 out at the new Armory, the conference center out there. And it's $25 per person or $45 for a couple. And it's the first time they've had it. And you know, if you get a chance, want to go out and have a good time, Joel's Barbecue is going to be serving, and they have a cash bar and so forth, and a silent auction. We also have, is the Colonial Theater still having
Yes.
the thing tomorrow? That's what, 11 o'clock, CJ?
8 tomorrow.
8 o'clock tomorrow night, and at 11 on Saturday.
11 on Saturday, okay. And kudos to the dog park. And I'm just reminded, I read about 10 or 12 hours a day. I get my books through the Library of Congress, and I read an awful lot of books on animals and animal behavior and so forth. But I'm just so disappointed in the human species and how they treat our animals. I mean, we got a crisis, I think, in our country that public education has dropped the ball in working with children at a very young age to talk about the importance of, you know, taking care of our furry friends. And I think we need to do something about it. And the dog park's a great way to start, but, you know, we got cats and dogs run all over our city limits that are unleashed, and it's not right. And it's just something I think we ought to make a priority for us. I've had dogs or cats ever since I was a little kid, and you know, it's unconditional love. It really is very, very. It's heart-wrenching when you see how some animals are treated, and that the people just don't get it, unfortunately. So I'm really going to push the Board of Education to come out with a policy to say how are we going to deal with this problem we have. It's just not Upshur County; it's all over the country. So enough of that. Have a nice weekend. Take care.
Thank you. So, trying to decide if I want to read Macaulay's statements in the back. I'll just point your attention to them. I do have a couple of things. One, there were a lot of alums and other dignitaries in this past weekend for the inauguration of President Fierstein. I got all kinds of compliments on how beautiful the downtown looked. There were alumni who hadn't been back to campus since they graduated decades ago, and We're very impressed with the city. Fishhawk Acres was a big hit, someplace new for them to try. There was something else I had 3 things I wanted to say. I want to commend the police for their care about animals. My son left my house really quickly and slammed the door. He was in for the weekend and then headed out early in the morning to go to work, slammed the front door shut, and it didn't latch. It hit the rug or something, bounced out, and my dogs got out. And a couple of students were going by, and they stopped the police. And so I got a phone call from City Hall, and the police would not leave my house till I got home. And my dogs were fine. The next door neighbor, actually one of them had been hit, but she was fine. The next door neighbor just let them in the back door, in the backyard. They were fine. So there's some concern for our animals, which is very good. My dogs had an adventure. The mayor's comments and announcements regard Diversity Appreciation Day last weekend, and his remarks, Mayor McCauley's remarks at the inauguration of Dr. Thierstein, and the calendar of events, community calendar of events. There's also a handout of those in the back of the room for those of you who don't have packets. Anything else for the good of the cause?
Motion to adjourn.
Is this a record?
Record meeting. Record meeting.
I'd like to hear a motion, please.
So moved.
Mary and Dave, I think.
She wanted to hear it, not to see it.
That's right.
Aye.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Yo.
Hey, what are you wearing?